Hey, it's October 7th, 2023. Welcome back to the Hotel Orloff. I haven't seen you since last Saturday. Last weekend we didn't have internet. Finally got it restored Monday morning, but I haven't been able to do any shows. I've been very busy. But thought now it's another Saturday, exactly a week since I did the last show. I thought we would meet together and have some time looking at vintage collectibles, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah. Might as well say it. Everybody says it now. Officially everybody. Liberal, conservative, on television, everyone I know. It's become this new thing in our culture to say, so yeah, instead of going, so yeah. I'm so sick of it, and I'm starting to do it because I hear it so much. It's driving me mad, I tell you. Anyway, so we're going to be having a big celebration here later today and tomorrow. I might do another episode later today. It's kind of rough because you may think I'm insane, but you know, all day today, starting about noon, I'm going to be tuned into Right Side Broadcasting Network, which is on Rumble and YouTube, watching Donald Trump go around Iowa to various, I think he's going to stop in 2 places and give speeches. So that's how I'm going to be entertaining myself, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe in the middle of that broadcast, I might stop and do a brief celebratory party because we've gotten over 600 subscribers, which to me is nothing compared to most YouTube people, but to me that's a big monumental thing. And I never could break 600. It was all because of Todd E. Walnuts, the amazing YouTuber that has you got to subscribe to this guy, Todd E. Walnuts. He's got, he collects everything cool, from DVDs to records to old monster magazines, and he discovered my channel, and he keeps putting all these cool messages on his channel, and also during his videos to come subscribe to me. So I think I went from, I don't know, 580 something. Then, you know, within a week or so more, I go up to, I don't know where I'm at now. I'm in the 620 or something. As usually I'll get a new subscriber and then I'll lose 2 because I'll say something like how much I hate Dungeons and Dragons or slabbing comics, and then that will offend people horribly, and then they'll unsubscribe because they're crybaby liberals, you know. That's how they work. Well, I saw footage this morning of Joe Biden kicking his dog twice, which is probably why he bites all those Secret Service agents, because he's treated terribly. So when you treat dogs badly, then you and you know, of course, Dr. Fauci, how many beagles did he kill in his scientific research? But you guys can love these guys all you want. Got some amazing stuff this morning. Just arrived 15 minutes ago. So we're going to be looking at this amazing haul. I hate using these words that people in the comic book community have developed, like community. I'd rather say comic book neighborhood. And this is a haul. They call it a haul. I call it a dump. It's a new, you know, a truck is backed up to the Hotel Orloff and dumped some new amazing comic books. So I'll call it a dump, and you guys can call it a haul, and you guys can call it the comic book community. I'll call it a neighborhood, because this is just a tiny pocket neighborhood, not a very good neighborhood within the comic book community, because I I'm not going to say I'm the same part of the comic book. I'm not part of the comic book community that Comic Book Tom is part of, or these people that's like, oh look, I got a 9.6 instead of a 9.8. I wanted a 9.8 on my CGC submission. You're not part of my world, ladies and gentlemen. So here in this neighborhood, which is about, I'd say there's a good 300 to 400 people in my comic book neighborhood that watch my show faithfully. What is the matter with you, Drew? Drew is upset at something. So anyway, there's this amazing store in Mesa, Arizona called Gotham City Comics. It's run by Kevin Johnson. Well, Gotham City Comics has first opened in 1867, right after the Civil War, one of the first businesses in Mesa, Arizona. And Kevin Johnson took over the business about 40 years ago. He won it in a card game. He won it in a card game from the previous owner. Kevin Johnson was formerly an Olympic athlete and was in the NASA program studying to become an astronaut, but then he decided, well, I won this comic store, I'll just do that. The great thing about Gotham City Comics, and this is why you need to shop there if you live anywhere in the Arizona area, or if you don't, you need to call him up and buy things from him, is because unlike comic book stores that you know, he has old comic books, he has new comic books. Of course, that's what comic book stores have, but he's one of these, expression that started about 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, for people from the baby boom and what is the right after the baby boom? Is that Gen X? I think that's what I am. I was born right at the cusp. I think the baby boom ended in 64 and I was born in 65. Whatever, I still consider myself to be a baby boomer because that's the stuff I like. But I grew up in the 70s, right? I was born in 65. They started calling people that are really into monsters, monster kids, because there was a monster fad that started in 57 when all the Universal horror movies were released to television, and kids fell in love with them, and then the Monster Mash was released as a hit single, and there was monster toys and model kits, and Famous Monsters of Filmland started in the late 50s and all through the 60s and into the 70s, and there was all these competitors to Famous Monsters and Monster Comics that really made a return in the late 60s and all through the 70s. It was just a monster era, so I grew up loving monsters. I can't even tell you how much I love monsters. So I guess you would call me a monster kid. That's some expression people made up a few years back. So yeah, I would be a monster. I just said, so yeah. Oh, you guys gotta stop saying it. Because when it gets into my head, that's not good, man, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, indeed. Anyway, Gotham City Comics, the proprietor, Kevin Johnson, is a monster kid. So it's comic books and it's monster stuff. And it's Halloween all year long in that store. Most comic stores you go into, and they've got Dungeons and Dragons and Funko Pops and all this horrible stuff. The first comic store I ever went into, Lone Star Comics and Science Fiction, in the summer of '77 in Arlington, Texas. The first location. Those stores are now, the brick and mortar stores are no longer there. Now it's exclusively a mail order operation called mycomicshop.com. But when I went in that first comic store, it was only old comics, new comics. They had magazines and they had old science fiction paperbacks. That's all they had. It was comic books and science fiction. To me, that's all it should be. Maybe movie posters too. All this other stuff, get rid of it. Flush the Funko, flush the Dungeons and Dragons, you gamers, you Magic the Gathering or whatever the heck, Pokemon, oh, that's horrible. They all should be in a separate store. Baseball cards, sports cards need to be far away from comic books. Anyway, so Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics sent me these comics this morning, so let's see what we got. We have is that light too bright? Man, I can never get this hate this ring light. Ugh, hate this ring light. Who had ever invented the ring light must have been a sadist. It's very bright. Okay, it's Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. We're going to play that game where we guess the month and year this morning. And I would say you've got a Beatlesque British invasion looking band there. You see that? It's also 12 cents. Still only 12 cents. Oh, that gives you a clue. That means they're about to go up to 15 cents. So this could be like 1968. I mean, it's going to be after 64 because the Beatles looking band, and its prices went up to 15 cents. Was that in 68 or 69? Why do I not remember that this morning? Starting to memory's starting to fail. Where's I have to use this magnifying glass, but the battery's dead in it. I got to get another AA battery, which I see AA batteries around all the time, right, Drew? You see that AA battery that was under the bed last night? I got to replace the battery in my magnifying glass. I've been having trouble with my right knee. I think it's arthritis setting in. So, I had the magnifying glass. I set it down over here. Where could it be? I'm going to need that. All right, let's look. I might have left it in the bathroom, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Saturday. Oh, tomorrow there's a big live stream starting at 12 Central. And we're going to have the Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills. Mike will be there from San Antonio, and his channel was recently taken down from YouTube. Oh, we might as well look at this while we're here. His taken was channeled down. No, his channel was taken down. But anyway, he'll be able to come on. We'll have fun talking and picking and grinning, and who knows what will happen, ladies and gentlemen. You can come on and talk to him, but I don't know. Will his channel return, or will you only see him on tomorrow's live stream? We'll find out tomorrow. Look at this. Look at this bootleg Star Wars stuff. How do you like that? Sometimes the bootleggers have good ideas, like, what if Princess Leia was barefoot swinging across the chasm? That would probably be pretty cool. I think Star Wars people would have liked that. What else? What if Cloud City looked like that? So this is obviously probably this was made right after Empire Strikes Back, because they've got the floating cities, and that looks, I don't know where I'm pointing my camera. That looks kind of Star Trek-like there. Yeah, well, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I was looking for a magnifying glass, but often I get on wild goose chases and... God, where is my magnifying glass? I got man, I'll tell you what. Mike McCarthy from Memphis, the great cartoonist and filmmaker, came on the Four Color Fossils the other week when I was guest hosting, and that show got like almost 900 views. And I thought, wow, he's well liked, because I never get that many views on hardly anything. Except when I talk about the Forum 303 Mall in Arlington, Texas. I did 2 shows, my memories of this great mall I used to hang out at as a kid and a teenager in college age. The mall was torn down, and I did these videos, and people like me, you know, they get on YouTube and they say, I want to see if there's anything about Forum 303 Mall in Arlington, Texas. They look it up, And mine are the only videos that show up pretty much, and so they get a lot of views. Where's my magnifying glass? Oh, tarnation, man. Well, we're just not going to be able to see the little fine print too well this morning. Where is it? Where is it, I ask you? All right. Oh, there it is. It was right here the whole time. Oh, the light's working. Okay, that's incredible. All right. I guess you want me to straighten the camera, don't you? It's a lot to ask of me. Okay, 15 minutes and we still haven't seen but one comic. But I'm going to open it up. I'm going to say this comic. I'm just guessing. I'm going to use my psychic powers. Edgar Casey. Oh, Edgar Casey, what year and month is this comic from? October of 1968, he says. So let's find out if that is true, or if Edgar Casey is a fraud. Oh, look at this. How about that, man? Do you know, every day the news is just incredible. I woke up this morning to find out that Israel's about to declare war, I think, at noon today. Are you aware of that? My goodness. All kinds of stuff going on. All right. Cool comic. Let's see. What did I say? Did I say December of 68? Oh, Mike McCarthy. I was talking about him. He sent me his new book. I'm going to show you that in a minute. December of 68. Am I correct? No. September of 1964. Okay. Well, the Beatles really made a big splash. And, well, they were on Ed Sullivan in the beginning of 1964. And that's when it all broke. I mean, the cool kids kind of knew about the Beatles at the end of 63. But September of 64, so that gives it, you know, almost a year of the Beatles being in. But why are they saying still only 12 cents? Because comics didn't go up to 15 cents for like another 5 years. I don't know. Maybe Gold Key was contemplating there in 64 raising their price. I don't know. So I was completely wrong on that one. That was a bad call. And really in 1968 the Beatles no longer looked like that, you know. They were more psychedelic, so I don't know that Gold Key would have kept up with the current state of the Beatles. My wife just texted me. I just saw at the top of my phone. So I probably need to go tell her that I bought her breakfast because I can't text her or call her. Oh, Kevin sent me a whole deal of goodies. So once I take them out, I can reuse this bag and board. So that's let's see what we've got. And Gotham City Comics, yes, you need to shop there, ladies and gentlemen. Did I mention that? They're official sponsor of holy smoke. Oh, he's made, look at that. It's a sports card. This is the kind of sports card that I like. You know, Barney Rubble was 1992, except that must be 1992 BC, but even then, there wouldn't have been cavemen in 1992 BC. 1992 BC was about the time that the Old Testament was written, right? About a couple thousand years before Christ. Yeah. So, yeah, that was about the time of the ancient Sumerians and stuff, right? Yeah. Or does that go back another couple? I think that may have been 4000 BC. Yeah, when were the Beatles? When were the Flintstones living, ladies and gentlemen. The Steelers. These are Barney Rubble cards. That's pretty cool. These are, look at this. This is a movie ticket for a spook show. Now this is a photocopy, color copy, because apparently he's got a color copy, their copy machine. It's just a color printer. Pretty cool. Now it's for the Chamber of Horrors. One night only. Beautiful Hollywood starlets. Togar, the living monster. Now, it's a color copy, yes, but you can easily put this, you know, behind glass and it'll look real. And look at this one. He's changed it to Gotham City Comics on that one. That's pretty cool. I gotta go talk to my wife. Here, see, tell her. Oh, look at this. It's a JP Patches air freshener. He sent that to me free. JP Patches is someone I talk about from time to time on this show, and I'm about to talk about him again. And I'll tell you some stuff about JP Patches, but let me come on with me upstairs so I can talk to my wife. Oh my goodness. Well, the cold hit yesterday. I had to wear a coat for the first time this year, so today it's kind of cold too. It looks like fall is hit here in rural Retreat, Virginia, here at the Hotel Orloff. We're opening a new location, by the way. We're opening several new Hotel Orloff. Soon we're going to spread across the nation like a fungus, and we're going to also have, you know, those old Holiday Inn signs. You know, they took those down like in the 90s. That kind of was one of the things that ruined America. The Holiday Inn signs were beautiful. We're going to start our own signs like that with neon and flashing lights. The Hotel Orloff signs, and we'll have them in front of all of our... But this is the flagship location here in Rural Retreat. We're going to be having Hotel Orloffs all over the country. Perhaps one in your community, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps you could be the manager, or you could be the person that cleans the toilets. Who knows? Okay, I'm going to go upstairs and talk to my wife. I'll sit you down in the comic book room so you can absorb the smell of the old comic books. And we'll be up here in a little bit as soon as we finish unboxing everything. Okay. Turn the light on for you. All right, I'll just set you down here and we'll be back. So she just woke up. She was having really bad nightmares and all that. Some stuff that Kevin has made. I'm gonna build the comic room back better, like our hero Klaus Schwab says. We're gonna decorate these boxes back behind me. So, the sticker, Gotham City Comics. Let me make sure I put it on very neatly. It's going to make the comic room look 100% better. You can get these stickers from Kevin at Gotham City Comics. All right. So anyway, yeah, September of '64. I made a big mistake there. Maybe I'll do better on the other ones. There's a bunch of comics to come. Make sure you don't tune out, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I had to go talk to my wife. She'd just awakened and had been having nightmares and stuff and all that. So far, it's made the room look 100% better. I think I just said that. Okay. So, how are you guys feeling today? Having a great day, huh? It's just a beautiful day in the neighborhood, the comic book neighborhood. Yeah, I don't know what it was. In the late 70s, I had these friends, and suddenly they started talking about Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm thinking, what is that? Well, you have to get all these books and read through all these books and get these 18-sided dice, and it was some game, but it didn't have a board. You know, I'm used to games having boards. And it was, it's just like, you know, I bought a monster manual because they were talking about that, and I thought, wow, that sounds cool to have pictures of all these monsters. I'm not interested in playing your game, but I'll buy the monster manual, even though some of the artwork in it was pretty terrible. I enjoyed that, but I had no interest in the game. Zero, I tell you. So, because I knew that, you know, you collect comics, you're already a pariah. You get into Dungeons and Dragons, then that's like you fall into that rabbit hole, and then there's quicksand at the bottom of the rabbit hole, and you're never going to have a date. People into Dungeons and Dragons just forget about ever going on a date. That's just out. Although, occasionally there was a girl that played Dungeons and Dragons. And occasionally there were guys that played Dungeons and Dragons that actually had girlfriends. I mean, I actually saw it happen. But usually they were these kind of guys that had worked out to the point where they looked like mini Arnold Schwarzeneggers. I knew one guy named Marty, and he was a bouncer at a. He got into Tai Chi and was always you know, very serious, very much like David Carradine in Kung Fu, and he, you know, built up his body so that he looked like Conan and had a sword, you know, and he played Dungeons and Dragons, and he could get a date, yeah. Even though most girls, there was a girl that dated him, was a friend of mine, and I think it was just his lack of personality. He was just so. I never saw him laugh once, man. He was just a weird dude, man. Let's see what else we got from Kevin at Gotham City Comics. All right, so we got those Gotham City stickers that have spiffed up our comic book room. We got these football cards. And I was going to tell you about JP Patches. When I moved from my beloved San Antonio in 1975, my father got orders, I guess, to go to, I think, Madigan Medical, Medical Center. He was in the Army, and he was running a hospital at in Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, right? So I think it was called Madison Medical Center. I don't know. So I was about to be in 5th grade. So I'm in 5th grade, and I see the shows every, this guy had been a perennial children's TV show host in Seattle, Washington, but and I think he had been going since maybe the early 60s, and here it was 1975, maybe late 50s, and he finally retired in the 80s. But I only lived in Tacoma for 1 year. I only saw him for 1 year. Every morning, it was the J.P. Patches show, and he'd run old cartoons like Hercules, the Translux Hercules and Felix the Cat, and then he'd take movies like Hey There, It's Yogi Bear, and show like 7 minutes of it every day and stretch it out into a long serial. Did the same thing, I think, with Pinocchio in Outer Space, another cartoon movie. It's got a cotton candy scent. Anyway, this is put out by the Archie McPhee Company. So this is, anyone that grew up in Seattle has tremendous memory. This guy wasn't the typical kids show host. He was pretty much on par with Pee Wee Herman. This show was brilliant, and it was funny, and had all these cast of characters. It wasn't just like, hey kids, we're gonna watch another cartoon. This guy had some skills. And look at this. He also sent this to me free. This J.P. Patches action figure. I'm running low on power here. Let's see. Now, you can watch J.P. Patches. There's not a lot, but there is some really good long segments, like hour long, of J.P. Patches on YouTube. And I just, when he showed me he had these, I looked it up, and there's even more up now than there was a few years ago. I mean, J.P. Patches was the host of the longest running local children's show in television history. Oh, no, was the host of one of the longest running. Okay. The J.P. Patches show aired on KIRO TV in Seattle from 1958 to 1981 and broadcast over 10,000 episodes in its 23-year run. Just about every kid who grew up in the Northwest during that time tuned in as Julius Pierpont Patches, mayor of the city dump, entertained them with cartoons, sketches, and special guests. That's right, I forgot he lived in the city dump. His cast of regular characters included Gertrude, Ketchikan, the Animal Man, Leroy Frump, Gagorcist, the Friendly Furple, Miss Smith, and JP's nemesis, Boris S. Wart, the second meanest man in the world. So it was like a demented Captain Kangaroo show, and I need to go get another power cord, because one power cord's running this stupid ring light, and one is charging this phone. So I got to get another one from upstairs here. What else did he send me? There's a Scottsdale comic book show coming up. He sent me this flyer. Where's that? Oh, it's in Arizona. So, look at this. It's a Universal Monsters air freshener. And it's Betty Page. It's all kinds of cool stuff. That was just some free stuff he sent along with it. Okay. So, electricity. Top priority. Oh, boy. Oh. Did you hear that cracking? I'm going to put the camera down by my knee the next time I stand up so you can hear the cracking. Of course, everybody who watches this show is my age, so you probably know about all these things. Drew, what are you barking at? How dare you? Drew is barking with joy because Donald Trump's going to speak not just once, but twice today. remembered this power cord was here. One of these days, my knee will just give out while I'm on the stairs, and I'll just tumble down the stairs, and that'll probably be the end of me. And hopefully I'll be recording the show when it happens. That'll be a great final episode, right? Okay, let's plug this thing in. Oof. No, that's not what I want to do. Man. Okay. All right, how far does this cord go? Shoot. I better act quick. That's my second low battery warning. Man. Man. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay. Will I do it in time? Okay, you're plugged in, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's get the ring light back on. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's jump in. We're back. Okay, so JP Patches, one of the greats. All right. So, Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. You know, there's a way to tell, and I forgot. On here, do you see under the gold key, there's some numbers, and then it says 409. That means September. That means the 4 means 64, and the 09 means September. Now, how do you know that the 4 means 64? Because in 1974, comics were 20 or 25 cents, depending on what part of 1974. In 1954, they were 10 cents. So the only year that ended in 4 where comics were 12 cents would have been 64. All right, so I forgot about that. I learned about that from Micah, Graphic Man. That's how you can tell the date on a gold key comic from just looking at the cover. So, just so you know. So I can tell on this one. Man. Okay. Okay, at the top it says 509. Right there. That means 65 September. So this is 65 September. It's the Flintstones not wearing their usual clothing. For the next 60 seconds, this station will conduct a test of the emergency broadcast system. The Flintstones. Not in great condition, but you know, if you were one of those people that knew how to flatten comics, I think they call it. What do they call it? They don't call it ironing. I'll call it flattening. It's just the comic the new style comic collectors have figured out a way where you can flatten comics that have been abused over the years. It's called pressing. I'm sorry, I forgot the term. Pressing. That used to be a torture term, wasn't it? Back in the Middle Ages, they would press you, they would put rocks on top of you. That might be the perfect way to press a Flintstones comic, is to actually put some, like a board on top and then put rocks on top of it. That would probably be the right way. There are giants at your comics dealer. Look at that. How about that? D is for desert and danger. That's kind of appropriate since World War III is about to begin. You know, in multiple spots. Now we've got Israel and whatever it is, who's attacking them? Hamas or something like that. Horrible stuff happening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Flintstones was important. It was an important part. My wife just says, I just got a package delivered. Isn't that amazing how technology has allowed you to know these things? So I better go get that package in for my wife. All right, let's go. I think we have enough power that we can go outside and see what this package is. Oh, wow. Trying to remember what she ordered, but something. Some kind of stuff. No, we don't have to worry about packages being stolen from doorsteps here in Rural Retreat. This is the way the country used to be. I need to talk. I'm about to go off on a rant. I'm about to go off on 2 rants, because just thinking of that rant made me think of another rant. Okay, let's see if this package is here. Beautiful blue skies here. A little bit of a chill, but it's actually kind of perfect. I'd say it's probably about 65 out here. I don't see any package. Let's see if it's in the mailbox. No. Maybe they put it in the other mailbox. Oh boy. I don't see any package. Oh. We get lots of these political flyers here. I get one like every day. Ron DeSantis sales tax has a plan to make you pay more. Ron DeSantis voted for a 23% national sales tax on almost everything you buy. Gas station, grocery store. Ron DeSantis would slap a 23% sales tax on almost everything you buy. 90% of earners would see a tax hike. Well, the governor here in the state that I live in is now talking about getting rid of property tax, which to me I'm all for, because that means you never really own your property, because as long, you know. And there was a lady, can't remember her name, about 10, maybe a little more than 10 years ago in Texas. She was running for governor, and she was talking about getting rid of the property tax and putting in, you know, raising the sales tax. And I thought, that's great. I don't have to go to Best Buy and buy stuff. I've got plenty of movies and comic books that I've never read that I can enjoy, and then I can, because property tax kills you. And anyway, Glenn Beck went on his show and said this horrible lady running for governor in Texas, she believes in 9/11 conspiracy theories about and so, because she had said something like, oh, I don't know if I believe the official theory, you know, kind of like, you know, the Oswald single shooter theory, you know, which everyone knows is BS now anyway. So because he said that on nationwide radio, it caused her campaign to kind of spiral down the toilet. Or, you know, that's Texas where I used to live. But anyway, my rant was, oh, yesterday Hillary Clinton said that, well, first of all, they declared that anyone supporting Trump is a terrorist. You know, the government declared that yesterday. I'm serious. You can look it up. And then Hillary Clinton comes out and says, you know, these people, they're part of a cult. And she's basically saying that anyone supporting Trump needs to be deprogrammed, and the men need to be sent to camps, and men and women need to be have to go into deprogramming camps. That's what her idea was, is to deprogram us from that. And it's just, you know, these old hippies get into power, and they just want old Soviet style control. It's like, yes, send them to the gulag. So, and then she said, you know, when they say make America great, they want us to go back to this time when everyone was racist and homophobic and this and that. And no, they want America to go back to a time when you don't have to worry about packages disappearing off your doorstep, when and it's like that here. You don't have to worry about crime. You know, I had to get my car repaired yesterday, so I put the keys in the ignition, closed the door, left it open, called the guy from the dealership, comes and picks up my car. Then when it's done, drives it back to where I was at, and then I get into the fixed car and drive and pay him. Everyone trusts everybody. There's no fear. People leave their cars running when they go into the gas station. I mean, not to the gas station, to the supermarket. You know, people. It's Mayberry, man. The United States used to be like that. We didn't worry about crime, where kids can drop their bike in front of their house. They don't have to chain it up, and their friends can tell, oh, my friend's here because I see their bike there. It's really nice to live that way. And there are still pockets, big areas of the country that you just don't know about, where things are still the way they used to be. That's what they're talking about when they say make America great. When make America great again. It's not that, oh, we want to return to that horrible, you know, the way that some people used to be, and some people still are. They want to frame it as that, because right now things are not good. Oh, what am I trying to do here? Oh, I got to go to the, hold on a second. I'm making a tape. I'm recording stuff off of YouTube, and I'm recording it onto a disc, so you'll have to forgive me here. There's a really good YouTube channel called SunnyBoy66. So I'm going to type that in, SUNNY. You need to do this yourself. Look this up. B, all one word, Sunny Boy. And this guy puts up all these cool old records. Sunny Boy, space. I'm doing this on my Roku with my remote. Trust me, it will be to your benefit to look up SunnyBoy66. You'll love it. I assume you would if you're watching this channel, that you think like I do. Oh, I got to show you Mike McCarthy's book too. Okay, there it is, SunnyBoy66. Okay, he just put up a whole collection of 1960s psychedelic radio commercials. That okay, so it's a assortment. It's an hour and something minutes long. So I'm going to record that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard about it, read about it, but have you ever seen a psychedelic circus?
All right, so that's being recorded. Okay, let me show you this book that Mike McCarthy sent me. And I'm going to have him on again. This book is big, gigantic book, heavy like an omnibus, Teenage Tupelo. It's Fantagraphics Underground. It's a $75 book. I got it free because a few years ago, back during the pandemic, I remember Mike McCarthy contacted me several times. And he said, I want you to have a 2-page spread in my new book. See, he was a cartoonist. He did comic books, really cool comic books back in the 90s and late 80s and 90s. And then he decided to start making movies, and movies just like the comics he'd been making. And I met him at the Dallas Fantasy Fair in probably around 1994, and I introduced him to my friend Joe Riley, who was a special effects guy, an artist, and could do just about anything. Joe Riley's the guy that behind the Hypnotic Eye public access show that he's passed away. But anyway, Joe Riley meets Mike McCarthy and goes to Memphis and helps out with one of the movie that he was making at the time. And this is a book just filled with photographs, and it's all about the history of Mike McCarthy. And so I guess and the magazine I put out, The Sophisticate, back then in the 90s, I helped promote his movie and his stuff. So I guess I warranted a couple of pages in here. If I can find those 2 pages, I'll read you what I wrote, because I don't really remember what I wrote. This is it's got all kinds of, man, look at that spinner rack there. This is kind of hard to show because it's so big. Cool spinner rack there. There's just amazing scrapbook. It shows all the bands that. Oh my goodness, there's there's a reason I'm not showing you the interior of this book too much. Anyway, there's look at this. It's Mike McCarthy there. It's awkward because this book is, I don't want to damage it, and it's like, feels like it's about 15-pound book here. Let's see if I can find the part. Oh, here it is. Oh, I can't really show you this, or can I? If I put my arm over this, I could show you. This is the page that's about. I had to cover up some images that you don't want to see because this is a family program. Okay, the Dallas Connection. It's white print on black on a black background, so I'm going to use my trusty magnifying glass to read this to you. All right, I'll read this whatever it says here. You got to get this book from Fantagraphics. We now interrupt the new McCarthy scare to bring you an essay from Kenneth Weinert, also known as Gratu Orloff, the editor-in-chief of the incredibly strange mid-90s comic and monster art zine, The Sophisticate. Kenneth was more than a mere cut-and-paste crackpot. He, along with co-host Joe Riley, made for me bootleg VHS compilation tapes of Richter scale pop culture intensity. If the Church of the Subgenius had a corner on trash visuals in the late 20th century, Gratu Orloff was broadcasting from their basement. These precious tapes began to arrive in Memphis from Dallas at around the same time I was getting to know Delana and James from nearby Denton, Texas. Okay, Delana Tennell was, I knew her from, being around and different, just going to see bands at the clubs. She worked in a record store, punk rock kind of underground record store there near Exposition Park, and was the cashier, and that's one of the places I distributed my magazine, The Sophisticate. And her boyfriend was in a band called Fireworks, so like a rockabilly type band. So Mike McCarthy met that couple from Dallas, and then he met me and Joe Riley. So there was a cluster of people he knew from Dallas. Is what he's saying here. These Lone Star and Lone Starlet mines represented a similar rock and roll aesthetic, creating new things from pieces of the past with a sense of generation loss and lost. Meanwhile, our Memphis crew gathered around the VCR in Memphis and bathed in the cathode rays of Chuck Berry's escapades, two-headed country singers, directions to the Motel 6, and a warbly Terry Jacks Seasons in the Sun. Back then we used to trade VHS tapes, and then we would make copies and trade with other people, and there was a tape we got. It was shot in Longview, Texas. These out-of-towners were coming through, and they stopped and asked the guy on the side of the road how to get to the Motel 6. And this guy gives these insane directions where he describes every single blade of grass between. And he says, then bam, you come to a stoplight, and then bam, you come to another stoplight. It's got like a trick intersection, and he just keeps going on and on. And it's on YouTube. I'm sure it's on YouTube. You could watch it now. We called it Longview Directions. Oh, boy. The impact of this handful of homemade tapes on guerrilla monster films was profound. Also, within the static gold mine, Kenneth placed a dozen or more Scopatone films, the first that I had ever seen. I would soon create a new Scopatone film for Teenage Tupelo. Years later, I still have all those VHS tapes, but what I really need is a complete set of the Sophisticate, and I want it now. Okay, I don't have all the originals of the Sophisticate, but I probably need to take the staples out and make scans and figure out a way to bind them all, you know, like people, the Guandonland does, whatever. All right, so this is what I wrote. April of 2022. 22 to 23. What year is this? 23? April 22, 23. Okay. So it's about to be April of 2024 in a little bit. Okay, so I wrote this a little less than 2 years ago. It seems like 5 years ago. So I don't remember what I wrote. Let's see what I wrote. This is me here. Kids today have it easy. Before the internet emerged, we really had to work to ferret out music, comics, magazines, movies, and cartoons that were outside of the mainstream. It could honestly take you a decade or more to track down a 45 RPM record of a song you heard one time and loved. Now eBay will bring that record to your door in a couple of days. YouTube will let you hear it instantly. In those days, we had to really network to find others like us. It seemed that there were less than a dozen people that shared our interest in each major city. Before social networking sites, we would send audio cassettes and VHS tapes to each other in order to spread the word and connect with other odd people. Some of us even put out our own magazines about what we were obsessed with. I personally started cranking out a fanzine called The Sophisticate, which concentrated on all the stuff that mothers like to angrily throw away. Comics, pinups, and rock and roll. I started making homemade monster magazines alone in my bedroom in Hampton, Virginia in second grade. When we moved back to my hometown of San Antonio in 1973, I met a group of like-minded third graders, and we formed a group to create our own comic book line. We even had a clubhouse in the woods. I was to have a great awakening as I discovered Wacky Packages, Marvel superheroes, and Star Trek all at the same time. Alas, my military father got orders to go to Tacoma, and I left my friends behind. In the days before social networking, goodbyes were kind of final. Kids don't write letters. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. I thought the dog was doing something. Don't worry about it. It's all fine. Excuse my language. Yeah. And when you move, you know, kids don't write letters to each other. And nowadays, texting, you know, you can keep in touch with your friends. I only met one guy that was into comics in Tacoma in 1975. He kept trying to tell me to buy the new X-Men, but I didn't listen. I realized he was right about the new lineup only after we'd moved one final time in the summer of 1976, when my father retired in Arlington, Texas, near Dallas and Fort Worth. Okay, I was isolated in this new place, making my own comic books alone in my bedroom once again. It wasn't until I was in college in 1984 that I found a big group of fellow weirdos that were into the same twisted stuff that I loved. They were a wild, bigger-than-life group that spoke my language, were laughing constantly and doing big things. Some, like Tom Renoni, Armageddon Fabulosa, went on to Hollywood. Others became writers, antique dealers, world-class pulp collectors, and business owners. One of the crowd is now on TV all the time with his female AI robot. We all hung out at a place called Forbidden Books in Dallas. It was in this fertile environment that I started the Sophisticate magazine. Got to turn this down. This is a, did you know the Rolling Stones did a commercial for Rice Krispies? That's what that was. This is pretty wild. Can you believe that the Rolling Stones and the Beatles are now, what are they, pushing 90? How old is, I mean, they're all in their 80s, right? That's weird. I don't remember. Maybe they're pushing 80. They're up there, man. It's weird. I mean, you think rock and roll is a young man's game. It's weird that they're all, oh well. It was in this fertile environment that I started the Sophisticate magazine. One of my good friends and a great Dallas artist, Joe Riley, told me that he was so inspired by the Sophisticate that he wanted to make a video version of it for cable public access in Dallas. I helped him with this show, The Hypnotic Eye, which wound up being spread all around the globe thanks to the magic of VHS tapes. Around 1994, I met Mike McCarthy at the Dallas Fantasy Fair. In 1995, Mike's film Teenage Tupelo premiered at the recently restored Old Major Theater. It was a Major Theater. It was a XXX grindhouse for years. My friends and I were all there. I provided some publicity and ballyhoo for the movie and the Sophisticate as the date approached. What a blast that was. Creative minds from Memphis and Dallas united to create magic for a wonderful, fleeting time. Around this time, I introduced Joe Riley to Mike, and they really hit it off. Joe soon traveled to Memphis to lend his special effects wizardry to Mike's next film, The Sore Losers. When he returned, Joe shared behind-the-scenes footage from the shoot on his public access show. Those were truly great times. I think it was in 2002 when a criminal dastardly, I don't know, it looks like the word is missing here. When a criminal dastardly ambushed me behind forbidden, is that how I wrote it? When a criminal dastardly ambushed me behind forbidden books. I wound up in the emergency room, savagely beaten for my wallet and $30. I stopped going to Dallas much after that and kind of became a recluse. Friends would have to come to me. I lost touch with a lot of my friends, unfortunately. 20 years have passed. I've gotten married to a wonderful woman, and we will soon be off to a crime-free town in Virginia, where we'll start a pop culture museum and store and hotel. To heck with Dallas. Several years ago, I started the Garage to Orloff show on YouTube and have made new friends all over the globe that appreciate arcane culture and the preservation of physical media for future generations. Hope to see you there. Kenneth Weinert, also known as Garage to Orloff, April 2022. Okay, so, interesting. So that was right as I knew that I was moving here to Virginia. So that's interesting. This book is highly recommended by us here at the Hotel Orloff. I just wish I could what can I show you? Can't show you that page. Yeah, I can't wait to read this more. But it's it's hard on your back reading a book this heavy, man. I'm having trouble. Yeah. You should buy this book. Trust me. Let me move this back. put it on top of a pinball machine because I don't want a dog chewing on it or something. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Standing up, and I've weighed myself down with an extra couple of 30, 40 pounds here. Wow, 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 wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. So, how many comic books have we seen in this episode? I think 2. Here's an early Marvel comic. This is when they were called Atlas Comics. All right, so we see the 10 cents. We see that the comics code symbol is gigantic, which means it was really big at first because they're trying to say, hey, parents, it's okay. We've got this, we've cleaned our act up. It's okay, look, we've got this clean, we're okay. So this is probably 55, 56. Now Kid Colt Outlaw, they continued publishing Kid Colt all through the 70s. But they were reprints of these, what you were buying in the 70s was reprints of these old 50s comics. So this is Wild Western number 45. And I'm predicting that I'm going to say it's from 55, and I'm going to say April 55. What do you think? Look, you can, that's what I need to be slim and trim. Okay, let's see what we got here. I need to find glasses. Come on. Oh my gosh. What did I say? I forgot. April of 55? Come on. It is 1955. What's the month? September of 55. I'm off by a few months. Beautiful white pages. A lot of these books came from the same collection. Yeah, look how white these pages are. It was you saw the collection if you were watching a few months ago. This guy comes in and says, I got all these valuable 1990s comics. Look, it's my childhood collection. And they were all mostly beat up and, 1990s, who cares? But he had a few of those key issues. Boy, that's another term I hate, key issue. Like I think the first Deadpool was in there or something. Yeah, but who cares? But he says, well, I also have these comics that my mother collected, if you want, I'll throw them in with the valuable 90s comics, which were worthless. But the comics that his mother had were all in these boxes, and there were comics from the late 40s, really into the 60s, but mainly early 50s, late 40s. And it was all stuff in great. She was really into westerns and into cool stuff. I got a cut. Myself and some of the other Four Color Fossils, we went through every box through StreamYard on live television, and we were pulling, okay, pull that one for me, pull that one for Jambo, because even though I love those jungle comics, it's really his collection is more of that. I wish I had more, but so he gets those. Okay, that's a Donald Duck. That goes, we were divvying them up like friends or divvying up baseball cards. And anyway, so we got big piles. I still haven't gotten all the books from my pile. And then Micah got sick, and we all pitched together and paid for his pile to have it sent to him. And I'm still picking at my pile. But things are getting slightly better financially, so I can start getting more of those. But then and we thought, he had probably thousands of comics that his mother had collected, and we thought, okay, we're going to be picking at this pile for years. But then some guy came in, and mercifully, really, it was mercy, he bought them all to sell them on eBay. And it's like, oh man, he got it before I could pull that DC Rudolph comic from the early 50s. But I needed to stop. It was like someone saying, you've had too much, we're cutting you off. It's like, thankfully that happened. No, I wish the guy hadn't done it, but it's all right. We got some cool comics out of it. I got 2 John Wayne comics. I got another John Wayne comic. Look at this. This is also from her collection. North to Alaska. What time is it, man? Noon, Right Side Broadcasting's going on the air. Look at this, man. It looks like a brand new book. Who did the theme song to this? Was it Johnny Horton? North to Alaska. Damn. It looks brand new. Look at that. It just looks brand new. And of course, John Wayne's one of my heroes. I was told by this guy that was kind of an Antifa kind of guy, honestly. And he told me, you know what's wrong with our society? John Wayne. And I said, John Wayne died in 1976, 77, I think 77. It's like, how, I guess he meant just the attitude that, you know, that John Wayne attitude, which is what causes us to win world wars. But he thought that was the problem. Maybe he just meant masculine men were the problem. I don't know. I think that's what he meant. I don't know what he meant. It's like, really? That's the problem with our society? Is John Wayne an actor that passed away 4 decades ago? Oh, boy. He didn't like it when I said that Dr. Fauci wouldn't. It messed with his mental, his worldview. It's like, you mean there are people that don't like Dr. Fauci? And it's like it was disturbing him. North to Alaska. I didn't look at the date. What is it? I'm not going to open it again. I think it was. I'd say this is 10 cent. I'm going to say. I'll say September of '55. Where's it? Maybe '56. I'm trying to remember when the movie came out. That's kind of cheating when it's a movie based. I mean, a comic based on a movie, and you kind of know about when that movie came out in John Wayne's career. Then again, it kind of gives away when the comic came out. Okay, well, we got it here. Our Gang with Tom and Jerry, also from that same collection. Okay. 10-cent book. MGM. So the Our Gang they're referring to is the Our Gang, you know, with Spanky and Alfalfa. In theaters, those shorts were called Our Gang. They started in the silent movie era. And they went through a couple of groups of kids. And then, but the ones that we mainly know are the later group, Spanky, Alfalfa, Buckwheat, all that. So on TV, they changed the title to Little Rascals. So I think today people know them as the Little Rascals more than Our Gang. But you know, if I was talking to my mother, who was born in the 20s, she knew them as Our Gang. Let's see what's going on with this book. Who's everybody mad at? Look, they forgot to renew their subscription. This one's not in as good a shape as the other ones, but it's all right. Let's see here. Throw in a coin, wishing well. Of course, they're intercepting the coin. Okay, I'm going to say 52, and I'm going to say January of 52. Am I correct? Nice white pages, though. This one's been read more by kids, obviously. January 52, which is what comics are meant to be. Ooh, no, I'm completely wrong. April of 49. Which is probably why April of 49. I'm going to start, I like to do things differently than other comic collectors. I'm going to stop saying Golden Age, Silver Age, all of that. I'm going to start saying this is from the Truman Age, or should I say the Truman era.